Cool and the gang. So, hi everyone, I am the Sarcastic Sloth, and welcome to my stream. So, like I said previously, we're doing a stream every Monday. So, here I am doing the stream. See if this chat room is going to fill up a little bit. Hopefully it will, otherwise I'm just talking to myself, and I can do that any old time, to be honest with you. So, obviously, it is pretty bloody cold wherever you are in the world, I would imagine. Well, there's some obvious places where it wouldn't actually be cold, but for most of us, I think it's pretty bloody cold. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, Smudge, how's it going? You all good? How is it in chilly Canada? We got out of the minuses today, so I'm actually pretty happy about that. Everyone was freaking out. Let's see this fill up a little bit more. I need a fucking haircut. Hey, fellow fangirl, how's it going? How are you doing? How is everyone doing today? How are you? How are you doing? I've been worse. The extreme cold warning is finally over, but it's still minus 30. That is so bonkers to me. Yeah, I've never been that cold in my life. And that's even going up mountains around here. So, fellow fangirl, pretty okay. How about you? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm actually pretty good at the moment. I've been taking a Twitter break, so I've been feeling pretty fucking awesome, to be fair. Sometimes I just need to not be on that cursed app. Sometimes, you know. Adele, hey Adele, nice to see you again. How are you doing? Kelly's Corner. Look, it's everyone's favorite sloth boy. I think I'm the only sloth boy around, really. So I don't know how much of a, how much of a bit of praise that is. But how are you guys doing? How are you feeling? Are we okay on the Monday in the freezing weather? I was saying before, we've actually got out of the minuses here, so I'm stoked. um, I am, yeah, cool. I'm okay, thank you. Okay, I was gonna say, I am. Are you? Is it just conceptual at the moment? You're just like, I am, and yet I shall. um, yeah, just checking up on everyone, seeing if everyone's okay at the moment before everything kicks off big time. Kicks off big time. It never kicks off big time here, but just seeing how it is. I was saying before, I've been taking a few days off Twitter, so I'm pretty stoked right now, to be fair. Sometimes, yeah, it just gets I go through a bit of a 50-50 with Twitter. Sometimes I'm really enjoying it and I like seeing all of the craziness that's going on. And then sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, you know what? There's not enough animal videos for me. Fuck this shit. I need a few days off playing the Xbox, Hair Sloth. Oh, Hair Sloth. I thought that we were getting a bit weird and a little bit Third Reichy then, Skip. Yeah. How's it going? How are you today, Skip? Hey, fangirl. Everyone's saying hello at the moment. Can anyone beat Smudge's minus 30 at the moment? Because where she is, it's fucking cold from the sounds of it. It's going to say we don't. I guess maybe like up in Scotland or maybe the north of England, it gets that cold. But yeah, that's. I'm a southerner. I don't deal with that shit. Breaks are not a bad thing. No, they're not. They're not a bad thing at all, especially on Twitter. I haven't been on Facebook for probably a year now, actually, and I don't fair. Although to be honest with you, I only just had my friends on there, but there's only so many times I can look at people's pictures of sandwiches and shit like that. You know what I mean? So and go, oh yeah, no, that seems pretty cool. Until tomorrow's sandwich. breaks are healthy, and everyone should take one once in a while. Definitely, because it just gets too negative on there, and that's from like every perspective, really. It's it's not too many good stories, unless, and Smudge knows this, unless it involves animals, unless there's like an animal in the video, it's usually something pretty gnarly. I did notice that when I popped on there to do the post earlier for this evening's stream, that Jeffrey's hair minion is back in the game. So I've got to have a little look and see exactly what's going on with that, and I'll probably do a follow-up video for that, because I covered that little asshole so extensively before. I might as well still. Hey, it's warmed up from the last week. Yeah, but you were dressing up like the Michelin Man just to go out, so it's like what your definition of cold is might not be what my definition of cold is, to be fair. Um, hey, Sloth, hey, how's it going, Natasha? How you doing? You've been enjoying Dead by Daylight anymore? I haven't been on there for a few days now, so I think I need to get my fix, probably tomorrow, I would imagine. Smudgy Canadian too. Hey, Smudgy. Hey, I am Adele. She is, but is she Canadian? She's saying that she's Adele, but she's not Canadian. No, I'm just being stupid now. But yeah, well, glad everyone's having a good time and staying out of trouble. That's the main thing at the end of the day. Yes, I was. Lol. Yeah. Like I said, I've been out of the loop for a few days, so that's like probably a year in the Twitterverse. So have I missed anything crazy? Like I've, like big YouTuber related? Probably. Someone's probably fucked up. Someone's probably scammed a load of people. Someone's probably, it's just, I could probably get a dartboard and just throw a dart and like a YouTuber creator, and like on that given day, they're probably doing some antics, I would imagine. I've been off Twitter too, says Adele. Any particular reason, or are you just a bit sick of it like I was? It's like I said, I definitely have like a quota where I'm just like, but I have that in real life just with like people in general. Like, say if I go to a party, which I can't even remember what a party is these days. I haven't been to one for so long, but I would always reach my limit where I'd be having a good time. I'd be having a good time, and then I'd be like, nah, I'm over this. And I'd say I'm gonna pop to the loo, and you wouldn't see me again. I'm gonna fuck off home. Yeah, you remembered me this time. It was the name last time, okay? I just didn't, I'm calling you Natasha over the headset. I don't necessarily fucking. All right, get off my case. The new update is stupid, but I'm getting my tome done, so that's all that matters. Well, yeah, it is a bit of a weird update, mind, isn't it? It's I guess because I haven't played it too much before the update kicked in, I didn't really, I didn't notice too much of a difference apart from the graphics looked a bit shinier. But yeah, it seems pretty cool. I really do enjoy that game. That's like my new favorite at the moment. It's between that and then I sort of the rest of the time I'll play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is sick. Not sure I have my feed curated to show certain things only. That's probably the best thing to do, really. The thing is, because I've got the channel, I've got to sort of keep up with what one's doing anyway. So, and certain people only. Sad. I decided to just jump off Facebook because it was too toxic. But in all honesty, every social platform is filled with toxicity. Yeah, that's completely true. I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Probably like back in the space days, it was a lot more fun. I say that like I'm like some old man. Yes, and I used to live in a windmill at that time too, and all of this used to be fields. No, I don't know. Yeah, it just seemed a bit more fun. But then I was only interested in like following bands anyway, and you just had to worry about your 8 mates, and that was it really. Everything else was just sort of noise. I've been not in a great headspace, keeping low profile. I don't think you're the only one there, Adele, to be honest with you. I think this February's been fucking with a lot of people, probably because it's come in full circle to a year of being in lockdown. I mean, obviously, you probably got your own things going on too, but that's one thing that I'm noticing at the moment is that everyone is, just a bit bloody sick of being locked in. It's but it affects people in different ways. Some people go mad and start going rage about wearing a mask, and some people, I don't know, just go nuts on the inside, I guess, a bit like me. Fine, I'll forgive you this time. That's all right. Well, you and Smudge are the only ones who saved me on that game, so I've got to keep you on side anyway. um, but yeah, it was a good it is a fucking good game, to be fair. Um, well, whilst we're talking about it, what's everyone's favorite games on here? We might as well, open up with something like that. And it can be any kind of game. It can be from your iPad to your Xbox and beyond. So come on, chat. Let me know what's crack-a-lacking with that. I would say my favorite game is probably, well, in terms of like the one that I go back to again and again, it's got to be Skyrim, really. Skyrim is just a beast of a game. I never get bored of it either. I'll have points when like I'll jump off it for a bit, but yeah. Derp, hello. How's it going, Derp? How are you? How are you feeling? How's it going? Is it cold where you are? What's your favorite game? Come on, you got to fucking chip in here. This is what we're doing in the chat. I've been stuck with Genshin Impact. I've never heard of that. What's that on? A thunderstorm came last night. Ooh, bloody hell. Is everything okay? It's not like, it wasn't biblical, I hope. It's because, yeah, depending on where you live, like thunderstorms can mean different things. I mean, here it's been pretty crazy, but I don't think we get storms that people do over in the States. But the one I just go back to again and again is Skyrim or Monster Hunter. Do you know what? I've actually got Monster Hunter, and I've barely played it. I really need to get on that, but I've got a hard drive attached to my Xbox, and there's so many games on there I need to play. But I get distracted. I'm like that. What was it? The dog off Up. I'm like, oh, squirrel. It's hard to keep my attention off games for too long. I don't play any games. I wish I could though. Is that like just not into them, or anime? Breath of the Wild. Oh, again, I've not. You guys are throwing out games that I've not heard of. It's pretty interesting. It's cold in this part of Florida, so is it cold in Florida? That's surprising to me. I'm not going to lie, because when I was there, I thought I was melting out of my own face. So far, we are only supposed to get some ice during ice. Whoa, yeah. No, these things existed in Florida. Supposed to get some ice during the night and tomorrow morning. Just hope we are not getting snow like the rest of the South is. Well, yeah, that's always I think snow is nice in theory, and if it just happened and then like say you went to sleep, gone, that would be perfect. But it's all the sludge and all of that kind of crap that I can't deal with. Plus, I used to do a groundskeeper job, so I used to have to grit everywhere by hand. So yeah, I'm not exactly like snow's cool for a day, and then after that, I find it. Um, Genshin, it's a gacha based. No, it's a gacha basically. It has good lore and it's nice to play. Well, that's all that matters. I'll have to look that up because I literally have no idea what that is. Oh, I forgot about Animal Crossing, lol. Oh, everyone seems to be playing that, don't they? I am doing my early spring live gallbladder cleanse. Didn't expect that. So by tomorrow, I will be feeling amazing. Well, yeah, you're probably getting all the liver gallbladder. It would be weird if you're doing that as like a YouTube live. So watch me cleanse my gallbladder. But yeah, usually cleansers do make you feel a lot better afterwards. So yeah, hopefully it does. That sounds pretty wild. The problem with snow is that it's it's super dangerous if you don't know how to drive in it. I don't drive, so I can only imagine with that one really. But yeah, um, yeah, it's the ice as well. That's a big fucker and all. Snow is not good in the south. We shut everything down because we don't know how to deal with it. Sounds like the whole of the UK then, if that's the case. Or driving it. School snares closed. School snare? I still have to go to work. Schools are closed, not school snare. It's like I'm like what's his face? Ron Burgundy. I will literally read what you type. So if it's like um weird typos and stuff, I'll read it and take it exactly like that. So I was thinking, oh, school snare. That sounds like they got some weird shit in Florida. There we go. Hello, saw you in time. Wahahaha. Yes, you did, Lily V. How's it going? How are you? How's the weather where you are? Is it crazily cold? Are you enjoying it? What are we doing today, Lily? How are you? Sloth goes viral. I don't think that's going to be happening, or at least not for quite some time. Schools are. uh, you're just trying to fuck with me, Derp. Körperschlein. I don't know what that means. If I've dissed anyone in their native tongue, then I do apologize. But yeah, I have no idea what that means, Derp. It's snowing in Athens, and everyone is freaking out because it never snows here. Yeah, it's funny. Like it's like certain countries, obviously, where it snows a lot, they're really well versed with it. But yeah, like here, in the whole of the UK, everyone freaks out. They can know about the snow, but it's like, oh my god, it's the fucking end of the world. um, it's oh yeah, we don't know how. Yeah, we don't have to how to cope with this. So, yes, I wasn't born yesterday. I know what time it is, Derp. I know what you're trying to pull. I'm not out of touch in that sense. Snowing everywhere, and here I am, never seeing snow in my whole lifetime. As well, where do you live? Well, you don't have to say specifically, but I'm intrigued. It doesn't really snow where I am too much, but you go like sort of 15 minutes up the road to the valleys, snow everywhere. It's ridiculous. It's yeah, but where I am, I think it just sort of tends to blow over quite a bit because I'm right on the coast. Although if I look out the window, it's snowing over yonder, over yonder. Um, I wouldn't think you'd freak out. You don't get a ton of snow, but you don't get it, Sloth. Okay. Don't you don't. Ah, you do get it. Okay. I don't freak out. I just because like I say, I don't drive. In not Snowland. Oh, that place, that's where everyone goes on their holidays, isn't it? I live in Porto, Portugal. It really doesn't snow here. No, I don't imagine it would, to be fair. And my voice is going already, but there we are. It's the price I'm willing to pay for you guys. The last time it snowed in Athens, it was about 10 years ago. The last time I came across like proper snow was about 10 years ago. And I remember it started because I was going from a rave to a house party. And yeah, it was pretty wild. Everyone was getting really crazy in the streets. It was a good time. It was a really good time, to be fair. Um, I remember we were going past this one guy's house, a stranger's house, and some guy was like piling up snow like in like blocks up in their porch. So when whoever it was in the house opened the door, it would just. I mean, it was like taller than I am. I was like over 6 foot tall. Just complete snow in this porch. And we're like, "Oh, you right there, mate? Do you want us to take a photo of you?" He's like, "Oh yeah." It's like okay. Kelly's corner, we have spare, but it's getting it to you. So it might melt by that point. By the time it gets over, I want to go to Porto. I really want to see snow. Yeah, I think if you've never seen it, it's probably like a cool thing to see, and everything. Like I said, it's a sludge. It's a sludge which is the fucker, and just freak outs. People freak out. It's that thing. And where I live, there's a lot of like older people anyway, so their driving leaves a lot to be desired at the best of times. You throw snow in the mix, then bit hairy. Derp. Wow, 10 years. Yeah, 10 years is It's I don't know. Like I say, it's like here it doesn't. I guess it's because we're down south more. Although in London it snows like no one's business, so I guess my theory makes no sense whatsoever. So don't listen to me. I know nothing. Um, Smudge proof. Come, I'll see you around. When you're allowed to travel, I'll take you up on that, Callie. Yeah. See, we're all like mingling. It's just all like connections. Well, it is Greece. It's generally a warm country. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I would never have associated snow and Greece at all. But I think the last year shown us anything is be prepared to be surprised with anything. Really, I can't really say anything's certain anymore, can you? No matter what you're talking about. Well, it is Greece. It's generally a warm country. I think we are the sunniest country in Europe. I wouldn't doubt that. To be fair, I wouldn't doubt that at all. It was boiling when I went there. It's like, but again, I'm a Brit, so I'm going to whinge about weather wherever I am. It could be the nicest weather ever, and we'll always do that thing where we're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to go on holiday, can't wait to get out of this fucking grey country, and we go to a nice place and we're there for more than a few days. We're like, oh fucking hell, it's a bit hot in it. How do they deal with this? um, Hopefully we will all be able to travel soon. Hopefully, I mean, it's all you can do really at the moment is hope. I mean, I'm hoping the fact that vaccines have started rolling out. I am anyway. Although I know it's different. I think in Canada, it's quite a big pushback. It's like in August time or some not August, autumn time. But that's just what I heard. Hopefully we will all be able to travel soon. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm getting a bit sick of the confines of my house. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, it would be nice to see different people in different places at some point. I haven't even been back to my hometown, which is like only an hour down the road. So yeah, it's a bit weird. It's pretty weird. I was meant to move to the UK last year for a job, but the virus started and I lost the opportunity, sadly. Yeah, that is just really like sort of bad timing, really, I guess, more than anything. Because I mean, like it's not. There wasn't anything that anyone could really do about the outbreak, but like in terms of how countries dealt with the outbreak once it was like a common knowledge and a known fact, that sort of went a bit awry, let's say. There's a few countries that did a really good job. I mean, New Zealand, obviously, they're just living their lives down there. They're just cracking on as though they nothing's ever happened. But getting in and out of the country is a different story, because if you leave the country, you then have to book your quarantine time for when you come back. So because like I'll watch UFC, one of the fighters, he was going to Abu Dhabi, which is where they're holding a lot of the events, and then to go back. This was in January. To go back, he had to book a slot for March, so he just had to stay outside of New Zealand until March, really, until that quarantine slot came available for him, which is pretty wild. But I think he had a good time in Abu Dhabi from the sounds of it. I think they're doing pretty well with it too. Maybe it's that sort of corner of the world are just dealing with things a lot better than we are. It's just one of those things. New Zealand is thriving. They are, like I said, if you're within New Zealand, it's just life as normal. From all accounts, anyway. Same. I'm afraid I'll get the art of conversation by the time I get to socialize. I'll forget the art of conversation by the time I get to socialize again, unless they meow or bark at me. Yeah, I'm gonna start talking to everyone like they're Jess, my dog. Look at you, hey, look at your eyebrows. It's yeah, it's one of those things, and of course, if you're with your family, you talk to your family differently than you do to outsiders anyway. So it's one of those things that because I've had my first vaccine, and my second one is in April, because you've got to have 12 weeks between them. So at that point, then I should be allowed to go out and hopefully I can fucking work again. I never thought I'd say that. It's one of those ones where you're like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to just have like a big fat break off? But then you're like, no, actually, this is killing my soul a little bit, not being able to have anything to work towards or to accumulate anything, or you know what I mean. It's just one of those things. But as long as you're able to keep yourself relatively sane, which I think most people that are in this chat room seem to, unless you're hiding it really well. You could be a bunch of deceivers for all I know. No. But yeah, it's just one of those things, and you just have like these sort of, it's like a roller coaster really going through quarantine, isn't it? It's you have your moments where you're like, yeah, I'll be really productive. Like for me, you can tell when I'm down just from the videos that I'm pelting out. I'll be like, yeah, I'm really down for this. And I'm knocking out videos all the time, and then when I'm just sick of everything, you don't hear from me for dust. So yeah, it's one of those things. Mimi, hey Mimi, how's it going? How you doing? How is everything where you are? You enjoying yourself? Is it cold? Is it, all the questions I've asked previously. I'm the only weirdo I know that is completely enjoying quarantine. Yeah, you know what, right? Up until I would say, um, when did I start cracking? No, um, I don't know. I did for a long period of time, but then I was working out quite a lot as well because I've got like a lot of my own stuff here. Um, and I kept myself in like a really rigid um, routine, but then I realized that I sort of got to a point where that routine was sort of breaking me a bit. Um, so yeah, it just got a bit sort of much, I guess. And yeah, I think probably maybe just after summer is when, no, because summer was pissing me off because everyone was like taking the piss and going outside without their masks. I remember I had to go to the dentist at the time because I had a bridge that fell out, and I was walking up to the dentist. And I looked around. I realized I was the only person around who was wearing a mask. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to be so fucked after this summer, because they wanted everyone to go out and spend their money. Obviously, the British government. They're like, yeah, no, it should be fine. It should be fine. And then, oh, hang about, what's this? Literally the week after summer, the rates have gone up and all of this. Oh, well, who'd have thunk it, eh? Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. But what are you going to do, eh? It's one of those things. By the time we are able to freely leave the house, we'll be forgetting that we don't need masks instead of the other way around. Become like quite accustomed to a certain way of life. I wonder at what point I'll stop washing down the shopping or the groceries, I guess you guys call it. I wonder at what point I'll stop doing that. Because I can't wait to not do that anymore, to be honest with you. I'm absolutely frozen in. You and quite a few people, it would seem, there, May. Hey, oh, you're right there, Karmatics. Karma, how's it going? I don't know why. I know it's Karma, but I don't know why I always read out Karmatics. It's because I'm literally, I'm Ron Burgundy, like I said before. But I have power still, so that's good. Cool, that's great. Freezing my ass off here in Texas. Again, I would never have thought that was a cold place in my mind's eye. I just but yeah, I mean, what do I know? I'm over here. Oh, that's good, May. My power was out till the afternoon. It's been on a couple of hours now. Well, how long was it off for? All of our food spoiled. Oh, so quite a fair bit of time, it would seem, because it went off overnight while we were sleeping. Ah, that's bullshit. I hate it when that fucking happens. I used to live in a house where the electricity was run on tokens. Like you had to get tokens and like pop them in the meter for the electricity. And because we were all students at the time, just everyone would forget because we were all just getting on it at the time, I guess. And so you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, what the fuck's that smell? And you open the fridge and there's just water everywhere, and you're like, for fuck's sake, man! Like, I'll just run over to the shop now. So annoying. So yeah, I identify with that aspect of things there. Yeah, I'm very blessed. Most people are in the dark and cold right now. Shit, that's bad. Really? That is bonkers, man. Hubby is now out hunting for food. Everything is pretty much closed. Oh, I was thinking like he was like literally hunting for food then, because again, I was just figured it's in Texas, so you just hunt stuff. Why not? I'm an introvert, so usually I prefer my little corner. But after a few months, I started to break because I was doing my part. But the other's irresponsibility made me just lose it. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people who are on that side of the corn, children of the corn. No, on that side of the coin, that's sort of when you saw people cracking, because like I had it in my head that people. I used to have this thing when I was younger. I'd have mates when we were all baked and having like crazy conversations. It'd be like, "Do you ever think that like the world will ever like come together, man?" And I would used to say, I'd be like, it would have to be something extreme, like some kind of like plague or like aliens or some shit like that. That's the only thing that I can imagine the world getting together and actually working together for once. Turns out I was wrong. So I don't want to wait to see if the aliens is the thing that will actually do that. So yeah, it is a shame, but I think the amount of people that were just chowing down on bullshit conspiracy theories sort of fucked everything up, really, didn't it? Let's be fair. Um, a friend of mine, this is Lily V, a friend of mine that is doing her doctor's residency in London was furious with people during the summer, etc. Apparently, the emergency room, etc., was full, etc., etc. So, yeah, well, I can imagine, because I mean, I was pissed off just seeing it, and we had like an image. I think it was like. It might be like Brighton Beach or something like that, and there wasn't even you couldn't even see any sand from the photos, and I was like, like, I live right by a bloody beach, and I'm not doing that shit, so, like, why is everyone doing this? It just seems ridiculous. Um, but people are this is the thing, like, people are selfish. It's like, I'm using a generality there, but, unfortunately, I mean, you know, point to anything during the last year and prove me wrong sort of thing. There are exceptions to the rule, but the fact that there are exceptions prove that the rule exists anyway. It can be. You just got to sort of focus on your own at the moment, really, I think. Otherwise, it will crush you, I think, personally. That doesn't mean don't look out for people that you care about and stuff, but like literally, it's just, if you're going to worry about. I mean, these are the same people who are like into like the world being flat and crap like that. So can they be I don't think so. If they're believing shit that's been disproved since medieval times, so I don't know. I remember I had a cab driver once who he turned around and he was like, "Man, have you heard about all this flat Earth stuff?" I was like, "Oh Christ, I don't want to get into a thing," because I'd already had like a history weird conversations with cab drivers. And I was like, "Listen, man, I'm not being funny. I don't believe in any of that shit. If you do, cool in the gang. I don't want to debate it when I'm on my way to the fucking hospital at the moment to go for my appointments." And he goes, "No, no, no. I think it's all bullshit too. Like, how do these people believe this?" I was like, "I don't know, man. Like, literally, you know, if you tell some people that the sky is red, they'll believe you, sort of thing. If you have a Facebook documentary on it." So again, these are the people that we're dealing with. Adele saying hi to Karma. It's not supposed to be. Hee I get that though. To be honest, my life didn't change much with quarantine, so I love it. But I got annoyed as well with people's irresponsibility. Yeah, I mean I think that's what most people got annoyed with, because I mean I'm like a homebody myself, but I like the option of going outside if I want to. That's the thing, see, and to have other people snatch it from you, because what? They can't wear their masks for like what could have been like, you know, could have, coulda, woulda, shoulda though. If ifs and buts were candies and nuts, then we'd all have a Merry Christmas, I guess, at the end of the day, wouldn't we? But you'd like to think that if we all pulled together in that respect, like we did at the thing. I mean, I'm talking about the UK now. I know America was a bit different in that respect, but but like it seemed like everyone was pulling together to begin with, and then people just span themselves out by reading bullshit online and believing it with no evidence whatsoever. And yeah, it's annoying. Oh no, I read that. That's exactly why I got off Facebook for the last 7 months. 12 months, me. So I beat you there, Skip. I couldn't stand seeing everyone's pics just out there living their best lives. That's a good point, actually. I never even thought of that. I think, like I said, I sort of just got over Facebook anyway. And then at that point, I was new to Twitter because I'd never been on Twitter before, which was like not far from now last year. And I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. This is different." And now I'm like a little bit over Twitter now, to be fair. So it's probably the same everywhere, really. Although I don't get too much of the conspiracy. Well, no, I don't get much of it at all on my feed, thankfully. It's more like the sort of just it just seems like everyone's having a crack on Twitter. No matter, doesn't matter like what community either. I bet the fucking cross stitch community fucking hate each other on there as well. So it just makes you laugh, really. I like the video of it's like the two dogs kicking off at each other from either side of like this automated fence, and the fence like just like opens and opens, and then they're like, "Rah!" And then as soon as it's open, they just don't say anything to each other, and then it closes again. They're fucking kicking off at each other again. It's like, yeah, seems about right, to be fair. Um, and then when I started to work from home, this is Kelly. I couldn't even breathe fresh air or just walk on the street, which made me even cave into depression. I'm not laughing at that, by the way. It's just the way you said it. Cave into my depression further. Uh, Always looking at the wall. This is it. It's like you can sort of spin yourself out. Like I say, I have moments where I'll spend too long looking at. I think social media in general, you just need to have breaks from it, otherwise it'll fuck you up. um, so yeah. Excuse moi. Okay, so hi Skip and Adele. Sorry, my husband called. Don't have to be sorry about that. No, that's not allowed. What? Be right back. Gonna click in and out because it's buffered a few times and I can't tell if I'm behind on the chat. Oh, is it being sketchy? Is it? Press Y if everything's okay now. No one's pressing Y, so I'm assuming that it's acting sketchy. Oh, okay. See, Lily, you're always there. You're always there. um, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Cool, 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 cool. Everyone's saying why, so I'll carry on babbling, I guess. Hubby was unsuccessful with the hunting for food. Was he literally hunting? I need to know that. You haven't answered that yet. Time to, because like all I can imagine is that yeah, it's just like going out and like literally hunting like elk or some shit. Time to get crafty, to get food in the kids' belly, cool in the gang. Okay, everything's good on my end. Skip, I'm back. It may have been me. Battery is low. So you're projecting your bullshit onto me, are you? Is that what we've gotten down to? Oh my days! I just thought you were cooler than that, Skip. To be fair, May, why for me? But I'm behind. I saw why in the chat before you said it. My internet. Oh, that's okay. It just might be internet connections in that case then. Okay, so we're all good. I actually yesterday I thought of a funny story from when I was in college, and I thought it might be a funny one to tell. And this sort of like maybe goes a little bit with like you can never tell like why someone might do. Don't make me laugh. I have gastroenteritis and it hurts to laugh. Well, you're probably going to laugh at what I'm going to say now. So, because it's a funny story to me. Yes, I'm projecting. That's what friends are for. um, yeah, so it's back when I used to be in college, sixth form college. Again, it's different from American college or Canadian college. It might be. I don't know. I've never checked up on that. And so I used to do like psychology, history, art, and graphic design at the time. And when I started my art class, one, it was kind of funny because like it was just me and I think it was like 8 other girls and that was it. And then there was like another block where all my other friends were. And that was like a really big mixed class, but we were like the smaller class for some reason. And so yeah, this sort of plays into it a little bit. That's the only reason why I mentioned it. And so start off this new year at college, and chatting to everyone in the art class, and then the art teacher came in. This woman called Gwen. I don't care about saying her name because well, you'll see. And like she gave me like a really crazy side eye when she walked in. I was sort of like that, and then we had like our project for the day, which I think was drawing like langoustines or something, if I remember correctly. And she used to do this thing where we're all like drawing. You might be like pasteling or charcoal or whatever, and then at the end of the class, we'd all put our stuff onto one table, and she'd go through and sort of, okay, well, this is good, but this needs like you try this technique next time, or you get the sort of, it was just sort of like her looking over everything and trying to give you tips. But I'd noticed that like she would always be like really fucking, like she just basically told me that my stuff was wrong all the time, and then I was sort of weirded out for like a few weeks. I didn't really say anything about it. I just thought, oh, maybe she's just a bit fucking weird or whatever. And I remember I was out in the smoking area one time, and my friend, she comes up and she's like, "Can I ask you a question?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And she goes, "Is it just me, or does Gwen have a problem with you?" And I was like, "Thank you. I thought I was going pretty fucking mad there for a second, but no, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know what it is. I've never met her before, but this woman has like a real fucking issue with me, and I'm glad that I'm not the only person." She goes, "Oh yeah, the rest of us are all laughing about it because it's like we just thought it was weird how like she's always like nice and constructive with the rest of us." She loved Carly anyway. She was like, "Oh, Carly, this is the best thing I've ever seen," and we would joke about that. And she goes, "Langoustine, yeah, sort of like a shrimp, I guess, of sorts, or a mini lobster." And they would like they would laugh about it. They would be like, "Oh, you just thought it was weird," and I was like, "Oh, maybe she just doesn't like dudes for some reason. I don't know. It might just be one of those kinds of things." And then as the year progressed, and we were like months down the line, it would just and happening, where it was just like always wrong. Like, this is wrong, and then I get into like these like arguments with her. Where I was like, "How can you're an art teacher and you're telling me that art is wrong? Do you realize how fucking weird that is?" That's like a really weird thing to say. And like in the same block was also the graphic design teachers that I had, and they used to think it was quite funny because they knew, everyone knew it was a small college, I guess. And they'd be like, "Oh, oh, look," and yeah, so it's like it's going on and it's going on, and then like to the point where we were having like full blown like I just got sick of it at one point, and I was just like, I'd be having like yelling matches with her in the middle of the classroom. I go, "Fuck this! I'm going out for a cigarette. I can't be asked with this shit." And I remember at the end of the 2 years, and it just sort of like put me off art in general because I was just like, I can't be bothered with this fucking bollocks anyway. And it got to the end of the 2 years, and like everyone knew about this. Like there's this weird feud that me and her had, and was in the classroom like collecting all of my stuff, and the other art teacher, Lisa, she comes, yo, do you want to know why Gwen doesn't like you? Like, do you want to know why like she has a real fucking problem with you? I was like, "Well, someone better tell me because, like, I just think she's a bitch, quite frankly, at the moment." And she goes, "Right, okay, come on, come on." And I was like, "Are you like?" She was like taking me down to the staff room. I was like, "Oh, is she in there? Because I can't be bothered with this. I don't need to go through a whole load of malarkey when I've only got a week left of being in college in the first place." And she's, "Oh, no, 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 no. She's gone. She's not in for the day." I went, "Cool." And I walk in, and like all the other teachers, like the the design technology teachers are there, the graphic design teachers that I had. "Oh, you right there, Nasa? How's it going?" And the other art teachers are there, and they're all like sort of like like laughing, like sort of sniggering and stuff, because they knew the reaction that I was going to have as well at this point, because I knew everyone at that point. And I walk in, and Lisa goes, "Right, right, I need you to have a look at this picture, because you'll get it then, you'll understand." And I went, "Okay." So like she gives me this picture that was on her desk, on Gwen's desk. And I look at it, and I'm like pretty span out at this point. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And because there was a dude who looked like it's her, and like these kids, and a dude who looked the spit of me. Like, I'm talking about how I look now, where it's like, I obviously looked younger back then. But I look the spit of how I look now. And I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I was like, I thought she'd like done some weird Photoshop with it at first, because I was just totally paranoid when I come to this woman, because I've been arguing with her for 2 years straight. And she goes, "Right, that's." And Lisa goes, and everyone's laughing their heads off now. And Lisa goes, "That is her husband, who basically fucked off to Scotland with the kids." and then and just left and just left her up in the like left her down there, like, because she's a nightmare to be around. Like, you couldn't be around her anymore. And I was like, "What?" so so I'm like looking at this picture, I'm looking at them, I'm looking at this picture, I'm looking at them. I'm like, "Are you being sick, you boys?" Because I obviously knew the graphic design guys, and I'd learned Photoshop from them. I was like, "You guys haven't fucked with this, have you? You haven't like aged a picture of me just to like make some kind of weird like you know some kind of weird prank for the end of year, because I'd kick off about it." And they're like, "Listen, there's a lot of things that we joke around with you about. This is not one of them. Seriously, man." I was like, "Oh my god!" So this woman has been hating on me relentlessly for 2 years because I look like her husband, who's like 15 years younger than this. Like I said, he looks like me now, but without the fucking hoops in his ears, sort of thing. And yeah, plot twist, he's lost doppelganger. And basically, I didn't feel bad about, because I already put a fucking jacket potato up her car exhaust pipe at that point. So I didn't feel bad about that anymore. And yeah, and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I went back into. So then I went back up to the classroom where my mates were at this point. And I was like, "Boys, boys, you'll never fucking guess what," because they were collecting their stuff from the other class. I told them, and they were like, "Yeah, we actually knew. We found out like a couple of days ago, and we got told not to tell you because they really wanted to see your reaction." I was like, "I can sort of get that, man, because it is kind of funny, but I've literally just been like just before where I'm like fully arguing, like, this is fucking bullshit, like standing up in the classroom. I'm a pretty good pupil otherwise, but if someone's like chipping away at you for like 2 years, and she just fully, and like every now and again she'd be like really nice, sort of out of the blue. And at first I'd fall for it, but then like after a while, like I wouldn't, I didn't trust it at all. And I'm guessing that's usually when they were probably getting on well, which is weird when I think about it. But yeah, man, like literally, I just thought that was a funny story to tell, because literally I got hated on for 2 years straight, um, for looking like her husband, who couldn't stand her shit anymore, basically. And, I just thought that was really crazy. So And it just popped in my head the other day. I can't remember why. I was like, oh, that's probably a good story to tell on the stream. I think people would enjoy that. So, have you guys had any similar experiences in that instance where someone's just like randomly hated on you because you remind them of someone? Um, because yeah, I mean, when I say I wish I took a photo, but this was smartphones. Like, we all had like Nokia 3310s and stuff like that, like a flip phone and all of this. Um, but yeah, I think I like when I left on the last day, because there was like some pigeons up in the roof, so I just like lifted the tile up, and all of these pigeons just came into a classroom and just shat everywhere, and that was the last I ever did anything around there. So I was like, "Fuck it, man!" Like, I got my revenge through pigeon shit. Basically, is how it worked out. But yeah, absolutely wild, absolutely wild. Let's catch up here. She was hating on a lookalike. Yeah, 100%. When I say lookalike, I, I wish yeah, like I said, I wish I had an image of that. It was mental, absolutely mental. Oh my god. um, she was hating because you look like him. Yeah, it's exactly like him, weirdly like him. I think this is because we were talking about doppelgangers on the last um, stream. Maybe I think that's what we were doing, weren't we? And yeah, that just cropped up in my head for some reason. So, um, plot twist: he is Sloth's doppelganger. Well, he was basically. If a doppelganger looks exactly like you, he was my doppelganger, 100%. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, but this is hilarious. Don't be sorry. I've been laughing about this for like 15 years. Like, that's something that I tell people all the time. Um, Obviously, if you're like in lockdown for like a year, you forget half your stories. Wild. Wesdale is so wild. I have a similar story from my school. I had a girl that just didn't like me to the point that during a philosophy class, she came from the hospital running after an appointment, threatening to hit me. What? That is bonkers. That is really weird. That's just like, yeah, that's bonkers. It just so it just shows you what people do. They know that you're not that person, but they literally can't help themselves. Some people, it's fucking bizarre. An experience like that, no, I can't say that I have. No, it is kind of unique, I guess, isn't it? Um, because we were talking about addiction, and at the end of the whole screaming, she was basically agreeing with what I said, but because she didn't like me for some reason, she just flipping for nothing. Oh my god, man. People are trippy. Even my teacher made me stay in class during the break just to protect me. That is crazy. That is literally crazy. That's the thing. In that college, there was no such protection whatsoever. Like I said, they couldn't wait to tell me. They could not. They literally could not wait to tell me. They were like sniggering when I got into that room. Um, to be fair, I did like mess around with the graphic design teachers quite a lot. Um, I'll tell some stories in a little bit now. Man, I was so scared. I'm not surprised. Like anything in school like that, because like at least I was sort of, you know, I was still a teenager, yeah, obviously, but between school and the real world, so it's you've got your wits about you a bit more. The only crazy story I can think of is my Scottish ex. It's always Scottish, isn't it? I don't know what that's about. No, I'm joking. Called me after 6 years and told me that he wanted to name his kid after me. Okay. And obviously his girlfriend had an issue. Yeah. With that, so named her another Greek name. That's weird. That's just weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I think he might have a shrine to you, Lily. Like, that's fucking bacon. Like, and then said he hated me, always hated me because I didn't want to get back with him. Yeah, that's what they call a nice guy, isn't it? That's a person where it's like, I love you, you're the best person in the whole wide world. Oh, I want to treat you to this and to that. And you're like, no, I'm okay, thank you. It's like, you're a bitch, you're a fucking that's like an example. Except the wanting to name his kid after you is a new twist on the nice guy example. I will give you that. That is that's weird. That's really weird. To this day, I have no idea why she disliked me so much. Probably because you reminded her. It's one of two things. It's like when someone like hates you that much out of the blue, it's usually because you remind them of someone that they don't like, or you remind something about themselves. Maybe I don't know. It's kind of weird, like because like I said, like with Gwen, I was perfectly nice to begin with. And it wasn't until later on that I just didn't have any of her shit at all. Like I said, I remember one time she was like, "We're going to do this exercise where we're going to draw your hand. You're going to draw your hand, but not look at your hand." I went, "Fuck this! I'm going out for a cigarette. I can't be bothered with this bollocks. Like, when am I ever going to do that? That makes no sense." And she's like, "Well, if you," she's like, if you leave now, I'm going to kick you out of the class." I said, "When you literally can't. I paid for it. I'm not, I'm not threatening anyone. I just don't want to do it." So yeah, I was a sort of um, arsey back then, let's say. The way you said the real world reminded me of Mickey Mouse. Yeah, that's what I was going for in a way. The real world on Lollipop Lane. No, I legit low key freaked out. I got stalker vibes. I won't lie. Yeah, well, we're actually coming back to like sort of last week's stream where we're talking about stalkers again in that way. That is stalkery. That's not. I'm not going to lie. That's like you know, that's just a bit of 1 hour photo in a way. I was used to having people not liking me because I was bullied a lot, but that amount of hatred was new. Yeah, it's there's always a reason for that, and it's usually not down to you. It's usually something that that person is dealing with themselves, or incapable of dealing with from the looks of it. Really, like there's no hate like that. Doesn't just come out of nowhere for like something as trivial as out over my mom and I were on via rail to PEI, stopped in French Canadian village, apparently just missed my doppelganger, and the lady was insisting it was me, but it wasn't. I just got off the train. Oh, it's doppelgangers are a thing because it's almost like there's just like a set amount of like looks in the world, if you know what I mean. It's like it's just sort of like maybe like little variants of like set archetypes, but it is weird. Like I've seen like I didn't like, I only saw that dude through a photo, but I saw like a 14-year-old version of me at Blizzard Beach in Disney. That was weird. Um, but yeah, I do think that doppelgangers are definitely a thing, or at least like extremely similar looking people. But yeah, it's with what Kelly's saying. Yeah, it's usually down to especially if you've not really done anything. It's usually down to that person or what they're going through in their home life, or because you never know what people are dealing with. A lot of the time, they don't want to admit it until like years down the line. Anyway, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, I used to get bullied in school and stuff like that, but it was weird. I think it was more just down to the fact that I was like short. Like there was a weird thing about being short at that time, but now I'm taller than all of them, so fuck them. I won the long game. But yeah, it's a strange world. Like I say, when you have like people who look similar to you, it can spin you out. That's the other thing. I've seen like other people's doppelgangers. I saw quite a few doppelgangers of people I knew in Disney World. Actually, come to think of it, now that I think of sit and think about it now, yeah, that's maybe it's a thing. Maybe they're cloning the shit out of us. I don't know. Um, but yeah, anyone else got any weird stories that they want to share? Trying to think of other ones. Oh, there was another weird one. It's not like that one. It's more just a strange one. So where I went to college, there was it was sort of like in the middle of like a pretty rough estate, and I remember we'd always like pop to the shop, like me and my mates, and get a load of sweets and stuff like that, and then we'd walk back for lunchtime, and we I came out the store, and there was like this dog that was there, and obviously if there's a dog around, with me being me, I'm always like, "Hey, fuck, it's a dog. Let's like, let's say hello and all of that kind of stuff." And I was like petting the dog, and then I started walking along, and then I turned around and noticed that the dog was following me, and I thought, "Oh, that's pretty cool." It'll just sort of and then walk away. And I thought, oh, it was because we're eating the sweets and like we're like necking the sweets, and then we got back to the college, and he was still there, like behind me, and the sweets were gone. So he wasn't like it wasn't like mercenary behavior at this point. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if he'll walk through the college with me. So went through the big double doors at the entrance and walking past the reception. Walked past the reception. The receptionist looked, but she didn't do anything. I think she was just like, "Oh, that's weird," and walked all the way through. And you had to go through like a load of like it was like quite like it was like a bit of a mission to get to the art block and graphic design block, and it was our graphic design lesson. And the dog's still following me. I've got people coming up to me and being like, "Hey, what's with the dog?" And I'm like, "I don't know." They were like, "Oh, cool. Can I stroke it?" I was like, "Fill your boots, man." Like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm sure you'll love it. So you're stroking the dog, and then you'd start following me again. And they followed me all the classroom. And the people I were with were like, "Mate, you've got to get rid of this dog. It's pretty weird." And I was like, "Well, I don't really know what to do with it because it's not like it doesn't listen to me when I've told it to go away." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And I knew that the DT teacher, Dan, who was a weird guy anyway, would used to mess with him a lot, would get span out. So I was like, "Okay, well," I just opened the cupboard and I just looked at the dog and I went like that, and the dog just walked into the cupboard, turned around and sat down and was just like looking out. I was like, "Be 5 minutes," and I just closed the closed the door. And then Dan, DT teacher, comes in. "All right there, boys. Hey, Adam." He'd always used to go, "Adam, name that riff." Like that. It was always Slayer or Megadeth, one of the two. And he opens like the door, and he like goes, and he closes it again, and he opens it again, and he closes it. He goes, "Boys, am I fucking spinning out, or is there a dog in that cupboard?" And we were like, "No, I don't know about any dog, man. Did you go out last night or something? Are you still on it quite a bit?" Like, and he's like, "No, I definitely fucking just saw a dog in there." And I was like, opened it. I pretended like I didn't see it. I was like, "No, there's no dog in there, mate." And he and then he opened it. He's like, "No, there's definitely a dog." I went, "Listen, I level there, man. It's followed me back all the way from like the shops." He's like, "What? That's like a fucking 15-minute walk." I was like, "I know, man. I didn't like tempt it with anything. It just followed me." I was like, "I think it might just like, I don't know, it might be my guardian or something." I was like messing with him. He's like, "You've got to get rid of this dog, Ad." I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll be back in like 20 minutes." I walked out, and then yeah, eventually the dog just sort of gave up. It was just weird how the dog followed me all the way through the college. It was just silently following me, and just walked in, and I just went like that into the cupboard, and it just walked in. And Dan was just a spin out merchant anyway, so he's just like, "Boys, I'm pretty sure there's a fucking dog in there." It's like, "No, there's no dog, mate. Don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, anyway, that was just a weird one from it was a weird college. There was a lot of stuff that happened in that college, man. Jesus Christ, when I think about it now, not even enough for one live stream worth of stories. Okay, let's get caught up here. Okay, so right, okay. I was used to okay. My voice doppelgangers are also a thing. I can't even name all the times I heard someone with the same voice as someone I knew. It's weird, actually, right? Like I don't know. I think because of like my accent is a weird one because I've lived in so many different places. I don't think I've got. I'd be very span out if I had a voice doppelganger. I'll be honest with you, because like my accent is like a mixture of like Welsh and English and all sorts and different parts of Wales as well because I've lived in a lot of different places. So but no, I've heard like, "Oh, was that my mate?" And then it's like just turns out to be some stranger. I remember one dickhead in secondary school. Sorry, it's just that that's the Brit. That's the Brit in the chat. I remember one. Oh, hang on. Is the connection still up? Yeah, it's all good. Um, I remember one dickhead in secondary school flexing about having a Rolex. He sounds like an asshole already, to be fair. The twist was that it wasn't actually a Rolex, but just a watch with a Rolex logo on it. Oh my days! Was he also wearing fucking deodora? I have a ton of fucking weird stories from school. Yeah, I mean, those are where like most weird stories come from. To be fair, all my weird stories come from like school and college, and then all my partying stories come from university. Um, I have a ton of. Oh no, I read that. Woof woof. Yeah, it just followed me, just straight up followed me. Like I said, I think it was just like, is it like the Golden Compass where the animal just follows you around? My mum is my voice doppelganger. It's sometimes that happens, mine though. Like you know, you just end up sounding exactly like your parents. But like my mum's from like the northeast of England, so like we don't sound anything alike at all. Um, yeah, but yeah, so there's a couple of weird stories. Has anyone got any other weird stories they want to share at all? Anything at all? Anything? Any crumbs of stories? What's the weirdest story that happened to you most recently? That would be a good one, I think. Although, actually, if we're all in lockdown, would that be a good one? So it'd be like, yeah, I woke up the other day and it was the same shit as usual. Is the connection still up? Press Y if the connection's still good. Oh, there we go. It's kicking in now. There we are. During my last, I think there must be a little bit of a delay, so I won't crap on you guys too much for not replying straight away. Okay, during my last year before going to college, my history teacher was dead set on failing my whole class. Whoa, like, sounds like a person on the edge. Jesus Christ. Any particular reason, or just generally a bastard? Lily, I met a guy that said he was 29 and turned out he was 40. Did he even look 29? Like, that's my thought. It's like, that's a bit weird, man. Because I've had that when I remember when, yeah. So back in my raving days, you'd get some people who'd be like, yeah, man, I'm like 25, and it's like, are you though, dude? Like either that or you had a tough paper round. Fucking hell. Like, um, okay, yeah, everything's cool. Well, I used Blender 2.8 for the first time. I don't even know what that is, so I'm curious already. You've got my attention. What is it, Nasa? That was during the summer for Lily. Oh, it was during the summer just gone, is it? Bloody hell. Just eating dinner. That's not crazy. Come on. Beauty Heathen did a reading on me today, and I have a long-standing stalker in my family. It wasn't a surprise, but creepy AF. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I think we talked about that last time, didn't we? Though that's fuck yeah, stalkers, man. I just don't. I can't identify with that mentality. It's just such a weird thing, if the person's not interested, just move the fuck on, bro. Like seriously. Well, than he was. I was also drunk and it was dark. That you should have opened with. So I didn't question it. But the next day I was like, there is no way. Yeah. I mean, I used to get people saying that I looked a lot younger. I think I'll probably even out a lot more now. But yeah, I remember, oh man, this is years ago. I think I was like 25. I was like working at McDonald's for a depressing little stint, and everyone there was like younger than me. Obviously, they were like mostly teenagers. I remember this one girl was like, "How old are you again?" I went, "No, I'm 25," and she went, "Fucking hell!" I was like, "What? It's not that old, man. Jesus Christ!" Like, it's like There's no need for that. It's like, oh my god, imagine when she got to 25, it's just like every probably in her mind, everything past the age of 20 was just like ancient, and it's like, oh. Blender is a mesh and 3D animation program. Oh, I used it in making some Greater Anglia trains. Now you have piqued my intrigue because I did not expect that at all under any stretch of the imagination, Lisa. I'm not going to lie. Um, are you a bit of a train spotter by chance? Because I might have some questions for you. Kelly's Corner. The grades go from 0 to 20, and my grades were around 16 until we got that teacher. The highest grade was around 10 to 12. That seems a bit crazy. It was so bad that we actually complained to the school director. Yeah, it sounds like that guy was having a bit of a fucking mental lapse, if not just like wanting to take out whatever was going on in his life out on student kind. No, different person, completely different person by Adele. My God, it seems to be a bit of a theme there, Adele. Like, you know, it's unfortunate, really. Kelly's Corner, nothing happened, and I went to my final exams with an 8, 7 or lower. You'd fail the full year, by the way, as a final grade. But on my final exam, I scored 17. Oh, there we go. Got a nice happy ending there. Lol. And he was so surprised with my grade. And he went, wanker, spit on that, dickhead. I would have done. I mean, I would have rubbed it in his face, especially back then. Jesus. Yes, but before you ask, no, don't trespass to get a shot of trains. No, I wasn't going to ask you that. But it sounds like you might have a story to tell. But no, I was going to ask, like, with train spotting, like, if you surely right, because I used to see them at my when I used to live in Cardiff Central Station, used to see them. You see loads of them there. Like there'd be like gangs of 20 gangs. Not really a gang if you're a train spotter, but yeah, like a group of 20. And I just thought, surely if you hang out like at the same place for like say a month, like at the different platforms, depending on how many platforms there are, surely you've seen all of the trains. So what are you spotting at that point? It's like I'm not dissing, but I literally. It's just like a weird thought that I had. Well, yeah, surely it's just like the same trains all the time, or is it like? Are you looking at the registrations? I never thought I'd be asking about train spotting. To be fair, but I'm intrigued because I never come across them. To be honest. Um, I feel so old. A lot of 20 kids have started talking to me in formal languages. It's a Greek thing for older people. I'm basically I'm still in my 20s technically. Yeah. I don't have too many people trying to call me sir and stuff like that. But that's not really a thing here. That's the funny thing, right? So I think over in the States and that seems to be like a big thing, calling like people like sir and ma'am and all of this kind of stuff. I'll tell you what, if you called my mum, she'd fucking like you would not be in high favor with her at all. Like, you know, it's like that's like rude almost, you know. And if someone calls me sir, I'm like, you know, don't call me sir. Like, you know, on a phone call or whatever. Like, don't call me sir, man. Fucking hell. Just call me by my name, for Christ's sake. I don't need to do all that formal stuff. But then I'm weird. Like, I don't like it if you go to like a fancy restaurant when they try to like put the napkin on your lap. I'm like, no, it's okay, mate. Don't worry about me. I guess I'm just too matey for that kind of stuff, really. He was actually there. This is Kelly. He was actually there when the grades were out, and I literally went to him and said, "Look, I scored 17. Would you look at that?" And he just shrugged in defeat. What a poor, sad man. Yeah, sounds like he's a pathetic piece of shit, to be honest with you. Yeah, I would have definitely a little bit more. In fact, me and my mates at that time, I know we would have made a really big deal out of it. So, oi. In Greek, it's a lily. In Greek, when you talk to someone older, you basically, and they keep talking to me in plural, and it drives me crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't be too fussed on that, to be fair. NASA, there are unique train codes. So IEGWR, Golf Whiskey Romeo, class 800,008 is named Captain Tom Moore to celebrate when Tom Moore raised money for the NHS. Ah, that's, you learn something new every day. That's yeah, like I said, it's one of the I don't come across many train spotters in my, well, I don't come across fucking anyone at the moment because we're in lockdown, but it's just not something that really crops up very often. So thank you for answering my question, and yeah, it's like I said, it's just something that I've never really. That was the one thought I had about it, where it was like, I see these guys here every week. It's like, surely they got them all by now. But yeah, everyone's got their thing. I mean, it's quite well, it is a totally harmless hobby at the end of the day, and everyone needs a hobby. Otherwise, you drive yourself a bit mad. I think it's one of those things, especially. Well, so you must be having withdrawal symptoms at the moment with it being locked down. Like, you must be tripping out. Like, you and your mates are like, I tell you what, when lockdown is over, I'm gonna spot the living fuck out of all of those trains. um, what are your thoughts on Brexit? Oh, dude, like really? um, um, don't think it was particularly wise, but it's first of all, I'm not someone who, um, how do I put this? I've got my views, and that's sort of about it, really. I don't think it was like the best thing, especially since like how long it's taken and how much division that it's sort of brought in the country. I feel like it's been more divisive than it has done anything positive, if I'm being totally honest. This is my perspective. I'm not talking for all Brits. I'm not saying that I'm totally right, but that's just my opinion. I think basically a lot of people who voted for it didn't really know what they were voting for. In fact, I mean, I remember the day after, you had like a lot of people being like, "I didn't know. I voted to leave, but I didn't know they were actually going to do it." Like, it's just a weird thing, um, where I think it was like maybe the idea of a bit of chaos, and then when the chaos was actually on their doorstep, they're like, "Fuck, man!" And then there was just people who thought that, and I've spoken to people like this. Are usually not very fun to talk to be honest. But people who thought that as soon as it was going to come in, that they were going to boot a load of foreigners out of the country, and then yeah, Britain would be for the Brits and all of this kind of stuff. Never truly actually taking into account that this has been quite a multicultural country for many, many years, especially after World War II, where we people from the Commonwealth over to rebuild our country. Do you know what I mean? And so it's kind of weird to me when you know people were sort of just looking at very superficial things, in my view, for that to um, for it to go. And there was a lot of people saying like, we don't get what's actually going on with this. I mean, even the news were trying to explain it, and people were still saying we don't actually get what's going on. No one's explaining this to us clearly. So I think it was a botched job, but we're in it. It is what it is. You can't really do anything about it now. Well, you can't do anything about it now. So I just didn't. The funniest thing for me was like, I think when I was working in a call center at the time, and I had the same conversation around what happened with Donald Trump coming into power, 4 years ago, where you had like lots of people. I was that, and I was like, yeah, man, yes, I do believe that, because there's like so many instances where like people just vote for like the craziest things. It just seems a bit um like for the Trump one, it's like basically everyone on my floor when I was working in customer services in this call center, like, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Oh my god, this is fucking mad. Why would they vote for that fucking guy? He's a maniac and all of this kind of stuff. And then I just stayed quiet all day. And they were like, "Ah, do you stay quiet? What, were you into him or something?" I was like, "Fuck no, man, no way. I don't like Trump. He can kiss my ass." But I'm not surprised. And George Bush, like back in the day, I used to have like a poster on my wall, and a lot of people did. And Mason might be able to like back this up, right? There used to be this thing like HMV used to be able to buy like 3 posters for £10. HMV was like a record store, and there was this poster, and like students used to just like get like a load of different posters. I had one which was like different spliffs that you could make, and the George Bush one and something else I can't remember. But the George Bush one was in so many students, like in their flats and their halls, and it was like all like action actually of the dumb shit that he said. Like my favorite one was most of our imports come from abroad. That's like that's the one that sticks out in my head. There's a lot more obviously, but I was like, they voted for that dude, so like it's not really that crazy that this crazy dude has come in as well. But like I said, I don't really want to get political because it doesn't solve anything, like just talking about it on my channel. But yeah, that's just basically how I think about it. Really, I don't. I think that a lot of voting doesn't really. People vote for with their heart a lot more than they do their head, and it can result in some crazy. Um, well, result in a crazy 4 years, as you guys very well have seen. Okay, so let's catch up. After Lily just tried to throw me under the bus with that live grenade of a question. No, I'm joking, Lily. But I've been asked it a few times, so I don't really mind. Well, I just found beefcake TikTok, so I have found myself a new hobby today. Does that mean that like you're talking about really muscly people or something? Unless it's like people literally making cakes of beef, then yeah, either or, live your life, I guess, like however you want to. Haha, the disclaimers, I love it. You've got to. That's the thing, Lily. You've got to put disclaimers when you talk about stuff like that, because you're dealing with a hot potato at the end of the day. The NHS wouldn't survive if they kicked all the foreigners out, to be honest. No, absolutely wouldn't. 100% wouldn't. A bit late to say this, but another reason as to why train spotters are a thing is because of rail tours, like Midland Pulse. Oh, yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I get that now. So not just like commercial shit. It's like, yeah, no, I get that now. That makes a lot of sense. I've come here to fight before I go to bed. Right? Okay. Well, I've got no fight to give, Siley. Fight with yourself. um, well, I mean, it's. I was going to say, if you've got a crazy story, we've been basically talking about crazy stories. I told the story about how I used to have, the abridged version is, I used to have a teacher who just hated the living shit out of me for 2 years, and then I found out at the end of that basically I looked the spit of her ex-husband who ran off to Scotland with the kids me for 2 years, and we used to get into screaming matches in the middle of the class. So if you've got a crazy story, Ziley, feel free to share. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in a difficult position. It's not a difficult position. It's just like, it's just you have to navigate how you say. I mean, I could just say so and so's a twat and leave it at that. But I feel like it's sort of responsible if I'm talking about this on a public platform, then I got to sort of back it up with my reasonings too. But I stand by my reasonings. That's the other thing. I don't, at no point am I going to go, well, no, I think fucking, xenophobia is all right, I think it's bullshit, and it doesn't matter if someone like argues the other point of view. I still think it is, and I think that's morally the case, really. One thing that I'll never understand, the idealization of politicians. Yeah, that's a weird thing that's come about recently. I remember when we used to just look at them all as like twats in suits, and that was it. They all have a master's degree in lying and wanting power and second intentions. Well, yeah, I mean, here a lot of the conservative ones go to Eton, so they learn how to literally run the country and therefore a portion of the world, because, of all the fingers that we have pies in, I guess. Also, I do remember having a poster of the first day of Virgin Trains East Coast. You're hardcore. You are hardcore train fanatic, I think would be the best way of putting it, Lisa. Rock on. That was cheesy, but yeah. Yes, muscles and tattoos. Oh, yeah, see, I know what beefcake means. I wanted to see if it meant the same thing over there that it does over here, though. Skip is a hussy. Are you really telling us things that we don't know? Skips, it's just a load of emojis. Yeah, so obviously it looks like Xylee hasn't got a story to contribute. She's just coming here to start some shit, which, I guess it's her right to do so. Yeah, it's been a bit of a we've had a bit of a crazy one so far, haven't we? Really, we've talked about a lot of different things. This is the funny thing. I don't have any plans. Like whenever I switch this on, um, at all. It's like, and then I just end up talking for an hour and a half at the moment, which is pretty wild when you think about it. But yeah, it's I don't know. So you get a lot of people who have like streams where they're like organized and stuff like this. But I thought, let's just have a disorganized stream for once. It's Monday. Let's not get too heavy, man. Let's not get too heavy, dude. Well, I'm going to bed. I just wanted to stop in and say hello. Well, thank you very much for stopping by and saying hello. I hope you have a lovely evening and, lovely dreams and all of that malarkey. I once had a dog meet me on my way home from school. I don't know, that sounds a bit funny, yeah, we met under like a lamppost and like you like chucked me the shit. Yeah, that's just a funny way of putting it. I like that. You hear him dragging me, Xylee. Yeah, of course. That's like you open yourself up for dragging. Dragons are going to occur, innit? Yeah, Skip, it was glorious. I once had my dog. Did you say my dog? Oh yeah, no, you did. That's all right. It's not as funny. But it's I see where you're coming from because I told a dog following me story. So you're in the same realm. I have lost the ability to think I am freezing my nose off. Put the heating on, man. Like put a few more layers on. Why are you freezing? It's weird actually. I'm cold all during the day, and then in the evening I'm boiling hot. It's crazy. I tried playing guitar earlier, and I was like, "This is just bollocks!" Like my hands are just all frozen up here. I can't deal with this shit. But I think here anyway, it's supposed to be getting a bit nicer over the next couple of weeks. But like I said, we're out of the minuses, so I'm fucking happy. I'm stoked. So as long as I don't have to like freeze my bollocks off, I'm happy with that. He ran away from my brother while walking, and I met him halfway, and he was just wiggling his tail like it's completely normal that he was there. Laughed my ass off. Yeah, dogs are the fun. They're just the best, man. I just absolutely love dogs. As if anyone follows me on Twitter, obviously knows that I'm an absolute dog fanatic in that sense. Greek houses have massive windows. They are not built for snow. No, no. I imagine it's probably a little bit so Yeah, no, actually, no, you guys do. I remember now. So it's probably a bit similar to when I was over in France and we were staying in the chateau, and you have like we were like there at like peak fucking summertime. It was absolutely boiling hot. It was amazing, but I kept thinking this house would be bullshit to be in during the winter because it's like no proper heating, no carpets or anything like that. It's all wooden. The windows look amazing and everything, but it's just like it's not built for the winter at all. Give me double glazing and and give me heating any day of the week and carpets, obviously. As to why I mentioned trespassing when I you are full on train mode. I love it. The reason as to why I mentioned trespassing when I said I was a train spotter, is because the railway community is a bit infamous. Ooh. There were 3 people last June who trespassed and get shots of trains. Oh, to get shots of trains. I was like, what, in Britain, people are getting shot because they're looking at trains? Fucking hell, man. Like, what were they doing to the trains? Like, that makes more sense now. But still, it's like, it's not really hitting anyone. I'm not condoning trespassing. That was just me literally thinking out loud. Take nothing I say seriously. I should have a disclaimer, shouldn't I? Yeah, literally. Everything I'm saying are for entertainment purposes. Nothing should be taken seriously. We have balconies, and the doors are just massive window, and just massive windows, basically. Yeah, okay. It's not, and like you say, if it's like the first time in 10 years that you've had that kind of weather, I can imagine that is just kind of horrendous, really. And when the Stonehaven incident happened, Stonehaven incident? I feel out of the loop. Someone had the fucking balls to say that British as fuck had the fucking balls to say that the train was more valuable than the 3 people who died. What? Why did? Okay, you're gonna have to do some explaining here because I don't know what you're talking about right now. It's like that sounds crazy. What, did they get run over? Like what's crack-a-lacking with that? This has turned into train stream. I didn't know there was so much like cloak and dagger and behind the scenes. I thought people were just meeting up, like taking notes of trains and going off for a bacon bap. Like, apparently, I missed a lot. Yeah, you've missed a lot, Smudge. As per usual, I've gone Pulp Fiction on this stream. All these different stories. One of them starts, then I go on with something else. It's all I know. It's all I know, to be fair. But yeah, I need to know about this Stonehaven incident. I am fully invested now. I'm not going to lie. I need to know why 3 people died looking at trains. That's craziness in my mind. Unless, yeah, no, I actually can't think. No, that's everything I'm thinking of is probably like a bit sort of cartoonish, really, and it's like probably not how it happened at all. What have you been saying anyway, Smudge? What have you been up to? Have you been off playing a little bit more Dead by Daylight? Is that why you've been missing out on my stream? Fucking what the fuck, man? Yeah, absolutely crazy. Lisa, you can't just leave me hanging right now. You realize this? You can't just like throw a little bit of information out like that. Oh, there we go. Basically, ScoTrail train, never heard of that, to Aberdeen, derailed and killed. Oh, right. Okay. It's something completely different to what I thought it might have been. And killed 3 people along with 2 locomotives being crumpled and destroyed. I'll give you a link to the incident. Yeah, no, actually, I will be interested to read that. That sounds wild, man. I thought you meant 3 people died as a result of specifically train spotting. I was like, that sounds crazy to me. It seemed like the most, non-dangerous hobby. I guess it's a hobby. Yeah. No, I was going to say sport for a second. I was like, I don't know. It could be a sport. There could be a lot. It might be a little bit like Street Countdown on the IT crowd. There's like this whole world of like underground fucking, like a whole underground world, underbelly to the whole train spotting world that I had no idea about. I've never been so invested in train spotting right now, and that's not an easy thing to do. Like, I just want you to appreciate that, Nasa. I have no interest apart from that question that I asked you, and now I'm fully invested. Smudge, Dead by Daylight, was having fast lobbies. Sorry, that's okay. That's okay. If it's Dead by Daylight, I can forgive that. Greenbox, hello. How's it going? Greenbox? How are you? What are you doing? What you saying, mate? What you saying? Smudge, photos of trains. What do you mean? What? Well, that's what train spotting generally is. Yeah. Oh boy, train spotting. Did you not know about the murky world of train spotting, Green Box? I work for the train company, so you're well versed. I got into contact with that more than I want to admit. Oh my god! So I've never met anyone who's into train spotting ever in my life, and now I've met two people, one of which who's into it, and the other person who's worked for the train company on the other side of it too. This is crazy. This is the weirdest stream I've ever been in, to be fair. We've been talking about doppelgangers, politics, freezing cold snow, and now we're into the murky, treacherous world of I'm joking when I say that. I don't know anything about train spotting. But yeah, it's a world that I don't know anything about. No, we jumped on Discord, and since I was listening to you on my way to phone, the convos merged, and I had to shut off your stream to keep things straight. I can get that. That makes sense. At the end of the day, if I'm not contributing to the escape in Dead by Daylight, then I guess you got to shut it off. I am just waffling anyway, so I don't really blame you, to be fair. Yeah, I worked in marketing, so I ended up taking photos or videos of trains quite a lot, and therefore got in contact with a lot of spotters. There we go. So maybe we should do a bit of networking. You and Nasa need to start hanging out, it would seem. But is that in the UK or in the US? Or if you don't want to say, obviously don't say. But like, actually, are there train spotters in the US? There probably are, but I just never really thought about it, to be honest. One of these days, you should play a bit on your stream of Dead by Daylight. I've been thinking about it, to be fair. Switzerland, you're the first person from Switzerland I've ever had in my stream, to be fair, Greenbox. Usually it's just Americans or Brits, and very few Brits and a lot more Americans and Canadians. Play guitar, I mean. Oh, that came out of the blue. When yeah, at some point I will. At some point. It's yeah. I'll have to. I don't know. I might be a bit shy at first, but yeah, I don't see any reason why not. I do have a friend who works for GTR, gives Thames Links Railway. Oh right, okay, right. Yes, the US is crazy about trains because they are fairly rare. Oh, never knew that. I am learning so much about trains today. When I woke up today, I didn't think I'd be immersed in the world of trains and train spotting, but lockdown's brought a lot of surprises. Let me just put it that way. There are train spotters in the US, but are referred to as rail fans. Yeah, that sounds pretty American, to be fair. Sorry, those getting my attention. Yeah, well, I've got the 6-string Epiphone Dot. I've got a Ibanez 7-string imitation. The classical one was my dad's, but like he never got a chance to play it before he was sent to London to work because you're 16 now, boy. You got to go work down in the city. And yeah, the other one's a Squire Telecaster, which I use for weird open tunings and pretend that I'm good, I guess. But yeah, there's plenty of people who are good. If you ever need like recommendations on like stuff to listen to, like a really good guitarist is someone called Yvette Young. and she has a band called Covet. But if you look up Yvette Young, Parachutes, that song is literally one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my life. Another thing you should check out is John Butler Trio, Ocean. Actually, I'll just check you some links at some point. I'll put them on my Twitter. I'll just post them on there. But yeah, check them out. They're awesome. Yeah, to widen your range of things, you don't know even more. What I do could be described as a roller coaster spotter. In other words, I take photos of coasters. Me, I've never met anyone who does that. That's cool. I love roller coasters, but probably maybe not to the. Yeah, I absolutely love roller coasters. Done the whole Florida thing a couple of times actually, and absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. When I was on the Hulk ride, like when it shoots you out at the very beginning, like it was like going so fast, it was stretching my. Well, lockdown's the time to do it, mate. Lockdown's the time to do it. But yeah, so like, where's the place that you go spotting roller coasters the most? Is probably the best question for Green Box there. Yeah, I've been on here for 1 hour 40, so I'll take it to the 2 hours at this point. But yeah, I'm interested now. Like I said, I've never met anyone who is a coaster spotter, to be fair. I think I might have seen a couple when I was over in the States, but yeah, that's yeah. Europe. The only place I've been to is Disneyland Paris for roller coasters. Even then, I didn't go there for the roller coasters. It was more like a school trip at the time. But yeah, like, obviously Disney World is better than Disneyland, man. It's so much better because they've just got more. There's this really crazy one called oh shit, what is it called actually? Splash Mountain, yeah, that one's good. That they didn't have that in Disneyland Paris when I was there, but then I was 12 at the time. I'm 33 now, so that makes sense. I used to play. There are people who are less infamous called plane spotters. Name self-explanatory. Yeah, I have seen a couple of those at the local airport at times. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a strange one, like, because I it's almost like how do you get into that one really? Because like do you travel so much you just figure I'm just gonna like check watch these and check it out, or are you just gonna be you just decide what I want to go to the airport and check out some planes one day. It's just it's a bit of a, this has gone into a rabbit hole I've just realized of different variants of spotters, but I'm down for it. I'll be honest. I've never heard of it before, that much anyway. I sing and I took a few classic guitar classes, so whenever I see one or more, it always piques my interest. Oh, I'm truly sorry for coming out of the blue. Don't be sorry. Like, you've seen how random this stream is, so don't be sorry. We're talking about all sorts of random shit, wherever they are. Everest. What? Well, they do, unless it was in '96. I'm usually. Huh. Maybe I'm missing something there. Did you say 33? I'm 33. Be 34 this year. I think it's more about aspiring pilots and tech fans. Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense when you say that, to be fair. You what? Yeah, I'm 33. You should see me when I shave. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I've always looked young for my age anyway. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there, Green Box. Turning 34 where? Well, in the UK where I live. No, in August I'll be turning 34. Let's have a look. I think it's more about aspiring pilots or yeah, no, I read that out 3 times. What the fuck, man? Yeah, that makes total sense to me. That actually makes a whole lot of sense. So, if you're a train spotter, does that mean you're an aspiring train conductor? Yeah, I just find this a bit interesting, really. Like I said, you what? Oh no, I read that. That is too funny. I never would have guessed. I feel better now. Well, as long as I can make you feel better, Smudge, that's all that matters, you know. Yeah, yeah. I look young, mad. I assume so. Damn, I thought I was around your age. No, I don't know what to say about that really. It's yeah, I'm I'm old. It would seem. No, that's the thing. That's a funny thing, right? So like people who like I was saying before, when I was 25, there was that girl who thought that 25 was old as fuck, like back then, and she was like 19 or whatever. And it's just sort of relative, I guess. But like 20s is sort of like your teens now, really. If anything, it's you just sort of, well, it was for me anyway. I had a fucking good time in my 20s, but yeah, it's lots of raving and such. But yeah, I think like 30s is sort of like your what people used to think your 20s were, I guess. Damn, I thought I was around your age. I'm still older than you. I just didn't realize we're closer than I thought. I don't like all of the laughing here in regards to my age, but shit happens. I realize that's the thing. You never really sort of look in the mirror and go, you know what? How old am I? It's just one of those things, I guess. But yes, I'm 33. Laugh about that if you will, and be surprised. Um, but yeah, no, I do look young. I love how this has gone from train spotting to just like that me. I look young. I'm back because I heard we talking about the fact that we are old as fuck. What? Yes, apparently so. I'm 23 and I get told that I look older. So, yeah, I don't think, I mean, what is looking your age at the end of the day? It's, there's sometimes when like it's people around about my age who, you know, they you, when then like you find out how old they are, and you're like, oh fucking hell, man, you must have had a tough paper round, bloody hell, and you just don't understand how you're both the same age. But yeah, it happens that way. It's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Some of us look younger, but I've always looked young. That's the thing. So when I was like 18, and I was able to go to like clubs and stuff, I was getting ID'd constantly up until probably about like 24, maybe. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Um, Random railway fact. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, that's a Welsh name for people who are looking at what NASA's saying. That's a legit place in Wales. That's like I can't actually pronounce it. I'm very bad with pronouncing Welsh because it's not my first language at all. But yeah, that's an actual legitimate place in Wales, and that's the actual legitimate name. It's the craziest thing, man. But I love it. I just love Wales, man. It's great. We have so much like weird. It's the longest railway station in the world. I think it's probably the longest name, isn't it? Like just for a place in general, but I could be wrong on that. Natasha, just messing with you. We thought you were younger. Yeah, yeah. I get that now. Yeah, that's what you thought now. We're still on Natasha. I think we all should be allowed to reduce our age by 1 year to compensate to the lockdown. That is fucking genius, Green Box. I will drink to that. Absolutely, 100%. Nate's my brain bugged reading that, lol. Yeah, it's there's a lot of names that in Wales that are like pretty crazy, but that is the craziest. And when you hear someone literally pronounce it, copy and paste that and type it into YouTube and listen to someone actually pronounce that. I would try, but I'd be butchering it, and then I'd just be letting down, my countrymen at this point. So, but yeah, I've got an excuse. I lived in England till I was 9, so Fuck 'em. Nice, my brain. Oh, yes, we are. I'm also older than you by 3 years. So yeah, it's not crazy, everyone's in their 30s. Like, if people were like, "Hey, we're 60, man," I would be surprised, but, like, it's I knew you guys were about the same age as me, if not a bit younger. But I always get that whenever I start a new job. I had, like, with my last job, this girl who I worked with, and we were taking the piss, like, it's just, like, our dynamic, and she just, like, started we were like, "What's it like to be old as fuck?" And I went, "What the fuck did you just say to me out loud? That is crazy, man." Like, that's like I was like, "At some point, you're gonna reach this age, and I hope people don't just, like, get on your case about it." Like, but, she was a piss take merchant. We would joke about stuff all of the time, so don't think that she was evil. ID'd from time to time. I always say thank you. Sometimes I get ID'd, to be honest with you. So it's not really the craziest thing. It's usually if I shave, like I said, if I shave like fully all the way down, I'm reducing my age even more. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, for those who aren't aware, I'm 33, and apparently that's crazy. um, Green box, legit. Yeah, everyone's agreeing with green box because that's a totally legitimate um, suggestion. Green box. You could say Clanfair, PG, located in Anglesey. Yeah. Is it a flex to say that I can pronounce it? It is a bit, but it's also a pretty cool thing at the same time. So don't worry about it. A vintage miracle, Sloth. Oh, dude, how's it going, man? Yeah. How you doing? Have you? When's your next stream, dude? Let us know. Smudge. I'm turning 40 this year. Literally. Like, I feel like you're messing with me now because like there's been a lot of like age things going around that don't compute, and everyone's saying that I don't. I don't know. I just feel like I'm being messed with. Petition to see Sloth shaved. No. Oh my god. Right, you should have seen. I've only like my hair on my head like once, and I look like a fucking maniac. So I'll never do it again. But one good thing is people get the fuck out of my way when I'm walking down the street. So looking like a psycho killer, probably because of the eyebrows, is not really a bad thing in that respect, I'd imagine. Um, it's nice. Smudgy. I signed the petition. No, I really am. This is why I felt so much better when you said you're over 30. All right, okay. Well, yeah, there's nothing crazy about that, man. Do you know what I mean? It's just like I say, like I think people make like a big deal over age when it doesn't really mean that much, to be honest with you. Well, unless it's like, adults interacting with minors, then it totally makes a difference. Like, I'm not having some weird fucking incel like taking that out of context, but it's I can just imagine that soundbite. No, but yeah, once everyone's like old enough and all of that jazz, then yeah, age doesn't mean fuck all. It really doesn't. It's just something. In fact, I usually got on with people who are older than me anyway. When I was younger, to be fair. So yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. I used to, used to have this guy who I worked with, this older like Indian dude, and he used to be like one of the funniest guys I've ever worked with. To be fair, where because he would ask me because I used to work in call centers, so he used to ask me like tips on how to speak to people in call centers. Because I was like, you're probably just doing it all wrong. You're probably just like coming across a bit like there's certain things that you can say to get like things that you want when you're talking to people in call centers. If someone's nice to me, I'll write off that admin fee, even if it means I'll get an ear bending. Because there's so few like actually nice people calling through that you actually want to go ahead and do something nice for them. But most people are indifferent, and then occasionally you get bastards, like actual bastards. And so I was like giving him a load of these tips, and he goes, right, okay, I'll so I'll be saying like, if you're annoyed or something, say, listen, I'm not angry with you, and so we're like outside in the smoking area, like a couple of days afterwards. He goes, he goes, like, Sloth, I tried that thing that you told me to do. I'm like, really? What did you say? And he goes, I was like saying to her, like, listen, this isn't against you, but fuck you, yeah. I was like, what? I didn't tell you to say that, dude. He's like, oh, really? I was like, no, that's literally the opposite. And like, she probably just laughed her ass off because she was like, this is weird. This is a weird conversation to be having. But it's just like, listen, I don't, no offense to you, and I know this is not your fault or anything, but fuck you, yeah. And it's like, oh, didn't take my advice at all, man. Like, um, oh, he was a funny guy. Kelly's Corner, true. I'm 23 and my back is of an 80-year-old woman. So we just need to start stretching. That's what I started doing when I was younger. My back used to be bullshit. But then, yeah, it's just certain little things that you can do. Some people, sometimes obviously, some people's bodies work against them a bit, but yeah, if it's stretching will probably help with that, to be fair, Kelly. That's a funny thing as well. I used to work with people who were like 19 and they'd be like, oh, like I was like 23, 24 at the time. I was like, well, like if you're old and past it, then I'm fucked, and I refuse to believe that. So like, kiss my ass with that logic. Like I'm not taking that. Um, okay, so I always try to be nice and hold my temper with call centers. I always try to explain when I get frustrated, but explain, and I usually have good experiences. Exactly, exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you get just a maniac on the other side of the phone. Oh my god, I would die on the phone, yeah. Green bar. Oh man, I would, right, if I got that phone call, I would have laughed my ass off and I would have waived the admin fee because like I could see what he was trying to do, but it's like, okay, something's like lost in transmission here. But yeah, if you are just like nice with those people because they just I used to take like 90 calls a day at one point when I was working in like the actual customer services. Then when I moved on to like the more behind the scenes stuff, I'd have like 20 calls because I was making outbound calls too. But 90 calls a day, man. And if you're just getting bastards, I remember one time I got a call and immediately I was like, you know what? Fuck you and fuck your company. I went, oh, great. Okay. So I've just logged in at 8 o'clock and I've got this twat on the phone. Now I have to speak to this asshole for an hour. You know what I mean? So, and then by the end of the day, all my calls, because you'd have your headset on, I'd be like standing up and looking out the window, and you could always tell when I had like a heavy call because there's a lot of right. Okay, so this is the picture and this is the landscape, and all of that shit. But everyone's got their things to get them through the day. I used to put like a cover on the clock on my screen, so because you do a call and you think, oh man, that was like an hour-long call, and then you look and it's only been 5 bloody minutes. Like, so, there's certain tricks that you learn. I used to say this thing with my mate all the time. Like we get pissed off and we'd be out in the smoking area, and we're like, oh, this guy's a dickhead, and we both like get a load of stuff off our chest, and we go, well, Christmas soon, mate. Christmas soon. Doesn't make any sense, but like it was just like a little thing that we used to say to, crack on, and then other people joined in. Then it was like this weird little motto that we had in our group. Well, Christmas soon, mate. Christmas soon. I worked in higher technical support and hated those phone calls. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's just like sometimes they could just break your spirit. That's the thing, and you know that's why you end up eating a lot of fast food on your break, which I definitely did. Fuck me. You just go to Five Guys straight away, and you're like, wow. I'll have like a 3-patty burger, like a bacon burger. Oh no, really want a Five Guys burger now. Shit. I work at customer service call center, and there's some people that are just so evil and mean to the poor operators that no fault on anything. Yeah, this is the thing. You get people who would just, they're never going to be happy. You could send them a gold brick in the mail and they still wouldn't be happy. This is the thing. It's like, And then I get some people who like usually older people who just wanted to talk on the phone. I remember I had like a 90-minute phone call because this woman was telling me how she moved to this place. I think she moved to like Bognor Regis, um, because she had friends there, and she was like a proper like, oh, it was I moved here because I thought like I would like to be around these friends. It's bloody awful, darling. It's awful. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. I moved into this house. It doesn't have any room for like all of my coats because I used to work like she's telling me about her London job. It was the funniest thing. So, I'm just there going like, yeah, okay, well, I'll listen to your story for 90 minutes. It was brilliant, to be fair. And sometimes, yeah, people just want to chat. And those people I would always just ask way more questions to. And then you can't just be like, well, I can't just like tell that customer to fuck off at the end of the day. Yeah, she was a particular one that was really funny because I was howling whenever she was saying stuff. And people were like, I wish I got phone calls like that. I was like, guess guess I was lucky. um, let's have a little look here now. I would. Oh no, I read that already. Either idiots or people who know it better but call me anyways. Oh, so was it when you say like technical support? Were you like sort of like IT based or something along those lines? Because I can imagine those phone calls would be soul sucking. Because there's like some people who are like, decent with computers and they call. I don't know everything to do with a system, and that's fair enough. But there's some people who are just like, how do I use this bloody keyboard? You're like, oh my god, I can't believe that they've just been on the phone for 40 minutes with some poor sod who's trying to explain how to type. Basically, um, I felt bad one time. I called about a laptop issue, and the guy was on the phone with me for almost an hour before we figured out the issue. He picked up 5 minutes before the end of his shift. Oh fuck, that is awful. That, like, I remember those would be the worst. So we'd sort of do this thing where you're not supposed to really, but you're like just like, okay, I'm gonna put put my phone on busy and put it on for like the last 10 seconds and just hope like no one fucking comes through. You're like, oh Jesus Christ, and then, oh, got away with it. Or you'd get that and you'd be like, well, I played the game and I lost, so I guess I got to speak to this person for fucking ages now. And then the manager's annoyed because they've got to wait. Everyone else is going, and you're like, God damn, man. Yeah, hire it like business. Yeah, hire it like it's like business level with data centers. Oh, okay, so very fun from the sounds of it. Yeah, it's always hard as well because you're trying to explain something where, if you were there, you could explain it probably in like a couple of minutes. But a lot of the time, it's just easier just to jump onto their system. But then you get those kinds of people who are like, no, show me, don't tell me, show me. And you're like, oh my God, God, get off the fucking phone. You were so patient the entire time. You gotta be, that's the thing. Unless someone just comes at you full throttle. Like, I remember when I used to do a supervisor job in an office, and this guy made one of the girls who was on my team, um, just fully start breaking down crying. And it was to do with because I worked for a company that's like sold cruise holidays, and we were responsible for getting like the tickets out. And so, I went on the phone. I was like, one, I'm not happy with you, first of all, making any member of staff crying at the end of the day. I think that's just outrageous. I understand that you're frustrated, but to make someone actually cry in their job is just reprehensible to me. And, like, I've heard all of the options that she's gone through with you, and you're not happy with any of them. So then I was like, okay, let's see if I can make, because what was happening is like everything goes from like Southampton or Dover, right? So he was going to Southampton and he had friends there. He was staying in a hotel, but he was also seeing friends there. So I was like, well, I can send, it's no biggie. I can actually send the tickets to your friend's house. No, I don't want to imposition them. It's a disgrace that they would have to be impositioned in that way. I'm like, well, if you're going to see them, it's not really a big imposition, but whatever. I was like, well, I'll get it sent to the hotel. Piece of piss. There shouldn't be an issue there whatsoever. I'll do a special delivery. Piece of piss. No, no, I should have them already. I should have them. I was like, well, you haven't. So you've got to be able to. I've got to be able to send these to you somehow. At this point, what's happened is your tickets have gotten lost in the mail. We're trying to send you this second set of tickets, and you're not accepting anything. So do you want to go on the cruise or not? At the end of the day, oh well, obviously I want to go on the cruise. Well, how are you going to go on the cruise if you haven't got any bloody tickets, mate? And it's like, well, I guess you can have them sent to the hotel. I was like, well, that's the only option there is. So, yeah, after a lot of back and forth, and then I got him to apologize to the person who he made cry, which it was like under duress, but it's a nice effort at the end of the day. But yeah, some people you're never ever ever going to make happy, and also people, it's sort of like with a lot of shit over the phone that they would never dare say to your face. So I would always just sort of do it where it's like it's a voice on the phone. As soon as that call is over, person's dead to me. Doesn't mean anything. Like, unless I have to have a follow up, doesn't matter. It's lost in the ether. See you later. Ta-ra. Okay, so catch up. Hierarchy. Okay. So Kelly says to Smudge, that reminds me of a story. It was New Year's Day, and a call falls 5 minutes before midnight, and the dumbass just told my colleague to just wait in line because he was going to celebrate. What? Well, that's loose, isn't it? Jesus Christ. The issue Smudge says the issue ended up being that something vital was completely missing from my laptop. It usually is when people like sort of rush stuff and fuck things up in that manner. My friend got a call from this NASA. This is my friend got a call from this person who was asked how to use Bluetooth, and after he told the guy how to use it, he claimed he had a PhD in computer science and was testing him. The biggest twat ever. That's not unique to that guy, actually. That's one that comes up quite a bit. So I used to work for a car insurance company, and everyone's, I'm a lawyer. So it's like, well, if you're a lawyer, because the people who work on customer services get taught like the very specific aspects of law to what they'll need to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Obviously if it goes beyond in terms of like claims and shit like that, then there's people who actually deal with that, like lawyer wise. But yeah, you'd get that all the time. Well, I'm actually an expert. I do this job myself. And it's like, oh, really? Well, you actually misquoted absolutely everything that you should have quoted in that case. I used to deal with a lot of liars in my particular job towards the end of that, because I dealt with people who would put incorrect information in their quotes, or they put correct information actually in their quotes, and then in their actual policies they would then oh, now all of a sudden I've been looking up all these quotes, 20 quotes for having an engine chip, and all of these like really bizarre modifications, and now all of a sudden he's not got any of them, and it's like really cheaper insurance. And then I'd say to them, well, you need to prove all of this. You need to prove X, Y, and Z to me within an X amount of time. Oh, well, I didn't know that I had to include this. Well, actually, I don't know if you realize this, but all of your quotes get shared with all of the insurance companies. I'm looking at everything, mate. Oh, well, I just didn't know that I had to do it this time. No, you did. You did have to declare that speeding offense. You did have to declare that drink driving offense. In fact, you shouldn't be driving at all, you silly twat. It's there's a lot of stuff like that, where there's so many people who do the whole "I'm testing you" bollocks. It's like, maybe you should be a bit cleverer if you're trying to use that one, to be fair, mate. Green Box, we had an entire team which did all the phone calling, but if they could not help anyone, they escalated to me and my team. Unfortunately, they also escalated angry customers to us. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the time escalations do include angry customers, don't they? It's That's why managers you can never get a manager on the phone for love nor money. It's like, oh well, try this and try that, and like they make you look like a bit of a twat, and then all of a sudden it's like if it like it's absolutely going to the manager, you go, write it off, just write that off and say it's okay. And you're like, okay then, man. Like, do you really want to avoid the call that much? Kelly's Corner to Smudge. Yeah, there's some very vile people out there. Oh yeah, yeah. If you're doing any kind of like um, job like that where you're just dealing with a various cross section of people, you're going to come across it. You know, the one bonus with speaking to people on the phone is they're not in your face. That's the bonus. Like I can deal with someone kicking off on the phone personally if they're not face to face, you know, kicking off if they're not in my face like that, customer wise, because you know, like I said, it's sort of like it's a disconnect, and then I'll deal with that, and then gone. See you later, mate. Ta-ra. Sometimes I had people apologizing at the end of the call after the problem was solved, but bless our patience. Yeah, in fact, you get a lot of people doing that. I found, especially when they're the worst is when you pick up off some like a call where the person has maybe been hung up on, you know, previously, to transfer them, but you know they've just pressed hang up, because how often does the transfer or dropping actually happen? It doesn't really happen all that much. It does sometimes, but you know, there's a lot of times that people will just go, "Yeah, I'll transfer you now." See you later. I'm not going to deal with that, because it might come back on them because they've not been able to deal with it correctly. Have you guys had at least a call that went along the lines of, I will sue you? Yeah, man. Totally. Many, yeah, many calls like that. And I will sue you personally as well, saying it to me. I was like, well, you literally can't. That's not possible. I'm working on behalf of a company here. Like, so, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a lot of the time you're picking up, um, you know, other people's fuck ups, or the person that's like, another thing as well, people get themselves so amped up, and it can happen because you're listening to like it's usually some bullshit hold music as well, and people like get amped up and amped up. They've listened to Coldplay like 15 times just waiting for a phone call, waiting for someone to pick up the phone, or listening to Green Sleeves. That's the other one. That's usually like hold music, isn't it? That drives you mad. So that when you actually do get someone on the phone, you're like fucking amped up. They've probably been drinking coffee. You know what I mean? So there's like some instances where I find um some people just rile themselves up, or they get a letter, they just don't understand the letter. So instead of just going, I'll just call and get this person to explain it, they've made some kind of assumptions in their mind, and then they come through to you, and you have to then deconstruct the stuff that they've made in their head. They're a little bit like flat earthers in a way, where they've just and so like it's like and then you're like trying to deconstruct it, and it can take you ages, and you're like, no, listen, right, okay, this is what it is. You've misread this. What, are you saying that I can't read? No, I never said that you can't read. I'm just saying that you've misread this actual specific part, which is fine. Some people do, and don't worry about that. But at the end of the day, mm, you know, this is what it is, and you've basically got yourself worked up over nothing, you know. And ultimately, you get apologies from those kinds of people. Um, I find like sometimes it can be a bit harder getting apologies from older people because they like to believe that they're totally right. You know, I had one guy who was like, "Yeah, yeah." I was going to say one guy. I've had plenty of guys like that. Um, du-du-du-du-du. That's absolutely true. Yes, nice. At least one per day. Um, I don't. Oh, Smudge says I don't know if I'd have the patience to work for a call center. It's it's one of those things where if you can disconnect, and you can not take stuff personally, then it's fine. Yeah, there's no reason to not. And like if you've got like a view to, you know, if you're a manager, the only time you get like calls per se is when it like something really crazy gets handed to you. But at that point, you've been doing the job for long enough that you can deal with that kind of malarkey in the first place. But yeah, it's not like I don't know. I think because like with me, like my first kind of job, so it's not really a big deal to me. Um, Having people kicking off. I remember that like, when you first start, you're like, oh Jesus Christ, oh bloody hell, you know. But yeah, it's not really something that comes up where I know you can almost look at it as same as Twitter. I know sometimes people just work stuff up in their head and they just don't understand what's been said correctly. Do you know what I mean? Or like they've misread a text because sometimes like things seem a bit more arsier if it's in a letter, whereas if you just explain it, it's like, oh, okay, now I explain, now I understand that. And some people, just yes, and like I said, sometimes you get the really nice people. No, I find that most of the time you get there's like a small percentage of people who are super nice, like the nicest people who come through, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, here's my reference number. I've got it ready for you," because that's not many people usually do. And then there's a whole sea of like sort of indifferent people who would rather not be calling, but then who would rather be calling a call center anyway. And then there's a small percentage of just bastards really, and like you can go for days without getting total, and then you can get a day where you get 8 bastards on the phone in in one go. So it's like gambling for work. I don't know if I'd have the oh no, I've read that. It's quite fun to see the experience is the same across countries. You're always going to have that. Have that. I mean, the I think it's probably a bit worse for me, and it's only because I know this from people I've spoken to who worked in like say like the place that I used to work for. We also had like a call center over in Bangladesh, and obviously you get call centers, and they get arsey straight away because they think that that person's just not going to be able to understand them or help them, or they're not going to be as helpful as a British person on the phone, which is whack because they've all been trained exactly the same. But it's yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like I think they probably have it countries like that where they're working for a where they're receiving calls from like sort of Western countries, I guess it can probably be a bit shit for them. I would imagine. In fact, yeah, it can be really shit for them. But like I think for us, it's not the craziest thing in the world, really. Like I said, I'd rather that than work in retail, to be honest with you, because like I remember some really weird stories I used to have from retail, working in like people bringing stuff back to excuse me, to like exchange. I had a lawnmower thrown at me once because the guy was like, "Why can't I bring this back?" And I was like, "It's literally full of grass. You have no receipt. Like you could have picked this up out of a skip, man. I don't know where you got this from." And he just got really pissed off and he threw the lawnmower at me. And we all had to dogpile him and then get the security guards for the sort of mall area that we were in. And then I saw them afterwards and they were like, "Yeah, man, that guy was a fucking prick." It was weird. So at least, like I say, with call centers, it might be shit for the time that you're on the phone with a shitty person, but you can hang that up and get on with your day, really. You can forget that person even exists. Um, why does the hold up music sound like those airlines musics? I have no idea. I have a theory. Sometimes it's like to fuck with the mind. It's like um airlines. I knew what you meant. You're saying ignore the R. NASA. Um, I think sometimes it is to fuck with your mind because sometimes people just call up for no apparent reason. Really, it's sort of like they like made something up in their head, and if they're able to sort of be on hold for a while with this music that sort of gets them thinking about not only the call but like their whole life, because sometimes happens. Um, and Yeah, I think it's like people go, ah, fuck this, like, I'm over this. Like, I think that definitely happens. Um, yeah, it's weird. I hate being on hold, and it's Muzak. Yeah, that's what it's called. I Well, there's some companies that it's like Coldplay music all the time, and that kills my spirit because I just don't like Coldplay anyway. I find it like dreary. Where I work, the hold up music, hold music is Queen's "Don't Stop Me Now," and no wonder they're all riled when they're coming through. If I was like listening, right, if I had a problem and I'm calling through to a call center and I'm listening to "Don't Stop Me Now" or like "Eye of the Tiger" or some shit, I'll be like, yeah, man, the person who gets through, I'm gonna get exactly what I want from this fucking call. I don't care who's in my way. I'd be getting worked up like no one's business. And it's so annoying after being on hold for 10 minutes. Yeah, anything longer than 10 minutes sort of does start to chip away at your soul. I won't. I have in real life a rule where I don't wait more than 10 minutes for anything, apart from like if I'm in a theme park. Debatable. It's got to be really fucking worth it. But like I've walked into shops and it's like a queue that might be over 10 minutes. I literally just go fuck that, and I just walk straight out. If that was the case, I would stay on the call for an hour. Yeah, that's the thing. The music's good, right? The music's good, but it's like not the Coldplay, but the "Don't Stop Me Now" and all of that. But yeah, you just get riled up, like pumped up. Don't laugh. The amount of complaints I have had. And listen, I'm a huge Queens fan, but fuck's sake, man, yeah, it gets much. It gets a bit much of any song for a while. Anyone said theme park, here I am. Yeah, I did. I was saying like my only rule is like I don't wait longer than 10 minutes for anything. In real life, not like waiting on the phone for a call center. Apart from theme parks, it's the only time I'll break that, and it has to be a fucking good ride. Because what I'll do is I'll get get those books where they tell you where to go in the theme park at certain times, like what's the most popular. So you go there like first thing in the morning, and then you like say for instance with Universal Studios, first thing in the morning you go straight to the Harry Potter land because they've got the sort of Hogwarts haunted house there, and you sort of work your way from like Harry Potter land, Jurassic Park land. Um, where else is there? I'm trying to think now. Ah, shit, my memory's gone to shit on that. But yeah, and then you ultimately end up at Marvel Land because all the kids want to go to Marvel Land first. Um, and then sort of midday it filters over to Harry Potter Land. There's ways and means. Like I don't want to be waiting in a queue for fucking 40 minutes just to go on a ride that's going to take less than 5. It's insane. But yeah, you got to have your wits about you when it comes to that. I just love how Green Box was like theme park. I love that. I wanted to go to the Harry Potter world for my birthday. Not this year, clearly. No, not this year. But there's definitely books out there that well, I'm sure you can get it online, but that tell you the best times to go around all of these places. Magic Kingdom is sort of a free for all, but yeah, I think with the Universal one because it's got like the like Marvel and Harry Potter were so big in those theme parks. That's why it's best to do those at those specific times. Um, and then also, obviously with Disney, they have that Disney's mad, man. The Animal Kingdom was crazy. Like the ride was like an actual safari. It's just mental, like absolutely mental. I saw animals on that ride that I've never seen in my fucking life. Like with my own two eyes in real life. I've never seen a cheetah in real life. It's kind of wild. Haha, generally want to see your reaction to my work. Yeah, I want to see it too. I'm intrigued. Um, Have you a way to look up a website? Not right now, no. But if you know, do you have Twitter? If you send me a link, then I'll be able to check it out, and I'll talk about it on the next stream next Monday. I'm always looking for. The thing is, oh, Kelly Tanasa. The thing is, the music is literally the chorus over and over again. That's that is a that is hell, basically. That's like some kind of, you know, like prisoner of war torture, isn't it? Like surely, like just the same thing again and again and again. It's like having like a drip of water on your forehead just constantly until it drives you mad. It's yeah, at least give us a whole song for fuck's sake. Oh dear me. Well, how long have I been on? Ah, Jesus. I was going to be on for 2 hours, and then I've gone on to 2.5. So what I'll do, it's 2:25 now. We'll wrap up at 2:30. But yeah, Greenbox, if you have Twitter, then if you send me a link, you type in the Sarcastic Sloth. I think I'm the only one on there at the Sarky Sloth YT. Or if you go onto my channel page in the top right hand corner where the banner is, you'd be able to go on there straight away. That would be cool. And send me the link, and yeah, I'll react to it next time. But I'm not technically minded at the moment where I've got like I'm using like Streamlabs or anything. I'm literally just stream via the YouTube website as it is, which I should probably change that really. But Streamlabs doesn't work on my Mac Mini. So I might have to get new StreamYard. I don't know. I'm just literally talking shit out loud at the moment, like talking problems that just literally no one cares about. But yeah, if you send me it, I'll talk about it with you next time if you fancy. Kenny's corner. Oh no, Kenny's corner. Yeah. Imagine going, I don't want to stop at all, and it goes back again to don't stop me now. Just like literally don't stop it. It will not be stopped. NASA, well, they aren't stopping me from something. They've been cracking my phone in pieces. It's true. I'm surprised some people don't just go fully mad sometimes, really, when it comes to like waiting in line. I remember one time I got this guy who he kept getting like disconnected, and he was fucking pissed off. Like I've never had a call where the guy was just that livid straight off the bat. And he explained it why. And half the time, all they want to do is like talk about it. So as long as you're just like, really, man, that's crazy. Whoa, man, that's mad. You can sort of get through it. But yeah, don't you hang up this time. So I wasn't going to. Like, well, I've been hung up on like 5-6 times. It's a bloody hour. Whoa, oh, man. I mean, like, what was it that you actually wanted to call about? I'm not going to talk about that until I talk about all the times that I've been hung up on. Did you get food to a person? No, I haven't. But Jesus Christ, it's like, okay, dude, that's like, obviously you just want to bitch about this for half an hour, and then I'll spend the next 10 minutes after that actually dealing with the problem. So there we go. But yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap that up. So like I said, if Greenbox, if you want to send that to me at the Sarcastic Sloth on Twitter, that would be awesome, and I'll check that out. I'm genuinely curious now because, like, yeah, it's your curiosity has perked up my curiosity. Alrighty, shot you a tweet. Ah, sick, nice one, man. It's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out then, and I'll chat about that next Monday. I'll be doing the streams same time. Monday, 12 o'clock UK time, but I usually throw out a tweet beforehand to let you guys know and keep you in the loop. And yeah, I guess we'll be talking about more Witterings then, as well as Green Boxers. Intriguing job, let's say. So we'll have a little look at that. So that'll be quite interesting. That'll be something different. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a really lovely evening. I hope you stay safe. I hope that you stay warm as well. If if you guys have been telling me that you've been freezing, then put more layers on. That's ridiculous. Don't be freezing anymore. And yeah, I'll catch you next Monday. I'll try and do a vid. Like I said, that stuff with the hair minion, Jay's Jeffree Star's hair minion. I'm starting to get tired now. Can you tell? Jeffree Star's hair minion. Hair by Jay. He sort of cropped up out of nowhere. So I'll probably do a video on that, just because that's something that we've been following on the channel anyway. But yeah, otherwise, hope you guys have a lovely time, and I'll catch you next time. Ta-ra!